A lot of people think creativity is something you are just born with. Like either you have it running through your whole body from head to toe or you don't have it at all. And honestly, the only reason we think like this is because we always relate creativity to art. If someone paints really well, writes beautifully, or takes great photos, we immediately call that art. But creativity shows up in every little part of life. Cooking is also an art. Even keeping your bedroom clean and organized is no less than an art. Because let's be real, not everyone can cook tasty food and not everyone can keep their room clean. Nobody is born with creativity. It's something we slowly develop over time based on our own interest. We all do this in some way, but only a few people manage to take their creativity to the absolute peak level. But the big question is how? Is it just because of talent, or are there other factors that play a role in it? Think about the times when you have been in the flow. Maybe you were drawing, editing a video, writing, coding, whatever your creative thing is, and suddenly hours just flew by. You didn't check your phone, you forgot to eat, and you were so logged in that nothing else around you even mattered. That's what we call the flow state, and this is exactly where your peak creative performance lives. Scientists have studied this and they have found that this flow isn't random. It can actually be triggered. It happens when your brain is fully focused, challenged just enough, and free from distractions. And the good news is that you can actually design your life in a way that helps you slip into the flow state more often. The first thing that comes into play is your body and your brain. For both to function at their best, they need energy. And that's why sleep, exercise, and proper nutrition are essential if you want to hit peak creative performance. If you are sleep deprived, your brain literally can't connect ideas in the right way. That's where REM sleep, also called rapid eye movement sleep, comes in. During this stage, your brain is super active, and this is when it processes memories, solves problems, and links different things together in new ways. On average, about 20 to 25% of a full night's sleep is spent in REM, and it comes in small cycles throughout the night. It is literally the foundation of creativity. So if you are not getting proper, complete sleep, you are missing out on what your brain is truly capable of. The same goes for exercise. You don't need to be a fitness freak, but just moving your body makes a huge difference. It boosts blood flow, increases oxygen levels, and even releases endorphins that lower stress. All of this makes your brain sharper. And then there's food. Your brain burns a ton of energy, so if you keep fueling it with junk, you can't really expect peak performance. So eat things like nuts, fruits, high protein meats and poultry, and other whole foods. The quality of your food shapes the quality of your ideas. Now, fueling your brain with good sleep, some exercise, and clean food, that's just step one. The way you use your time matters just as much. Creativity doesn't mean sitting for hours and grinding non-stop. It's actually a balance between deep focus and mind wandering. When you are writing, editing, painting, whatever creative work you do, you need deep focus. But mind wandering is where your subconscious starts making new connections in the background. That's why so many of our best ideas shows up in the shower or while taking a walk. If you are always glued to a screen with no downtime, you are basically cutting off half your creative power. Sometimes stepping away from work is actually the most productive thing you can do because that's when your mind wanders and that's when the new ideas show up. And when that happens, don't just try to hold them in your head. Your brain isn't a storage device, it's a processing device. That's why you need to capture your ideas, carry a notebook, or use your phone's notes app, whatever works best for you. Freeing your brain from holding ideas gives it space to create more. Also, the space where you create matters way more than you think. Some people like working in a quiet, clean environment. Some feel more creative with instrumental music playing in the background. Others prefer the buzz of a coffee shop, while some get their best ideas out in the nature. The key is to figure out what makes your brain feel switched on and then design your environment around that. There's another thing people rarely talk about, but it plays a huge role in reaching peak creative performance, and that's curiosity. Your output depends on the input. If you keep consuming the same type of content, the same information, the same knowledge, then your brain will just keep recycling the same ideas. But when you stay curious, when you look at new things, read new stuff, and try to understand new perspectives, you are actually feeding your brain with fresh material. At its core, creativity is just connecting dots, and the more diverse dots you collect, the more unique connections you'll be able to make. Curiosity is about asking better questions, not just consuming passively. The better the input you give your brain, the better the output it's going to give you back. Momentum is another underrated factor. Creativity compounds. The more you create, the more ideas you generate. Just sitting around and waiting for the perfect idea won't get you anywhere. Whatever idea you have, good or bad, work on it. Get the gears turning. Creativity is just like a muscle in your body. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And once you reach your peak creative performance, there's still one big challenge. And that challenge is sustaining your creativity over the long run. Because what's the point of reaching peak creative performance if you can't repeat it again and again? Now, the secret here is balance. You can't stay in a flow state 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Downtime or recovery time is what helps you maintain that balance. For example, I upload one video every week on this channel. Sometimes it takes me 6 full days to write, shoot and edit a video. Other times I can finish a video in just 2 days, and when that happens, I don't spend the extra 5 days obsessing over YouTube. Instead, I let my brain rest and recover. This way, I avoid burnout and still hit my one video per week goal. Consistency is always more important than intensity. One good creative day or one productive week won't change your life, but showing up again and again will. At the end of the day, reaching peak creative performance isn't about hacks or quick fixes. It's about small choices, getting enough sleep, protecting your focus, capturing your ideas, and giving your brain space to breathe. Do that consistently, and creativity will show up more often than you expect.